Hello, and welcome to the Reselling Report for today, Tuesday, April 7th, 2020. I'm your host, Ann Eckhart, and every weekday morning I upload the Reselling Report here to YouTube to update you on the day's retail and e-commerce news, including the latest from eBay, Amazon, Etsy, and Poshmark. If you haven't done so already, I hope you'll subscribe. And now, let's get on with today's show. Well, I hope all is well wherever you are. Of course, we're still going through the coronavirus outbreak here in America and really all over the world, actually. And of course, it has affected most of us in our day-to-day lives. Those of us who are resellers, many are seeing our sales slow down. Of course, it depends on what you sell, where you sell, how you sell it. My sales have been up as of late because I've added in health and beauty into my mix of inventory. So that is not only spurring sales with those items, but it's also kind of bumping up traffic on older, more long tail items, such as vintage collectibles and whatnot. That being said, I'm not selling anything with a very big profit margin. So while my overall sales numbers are better, certainly not killing it, crushing it, making big money over here. I'm just happy to see things moving when they do. This does bring up, however, the topic of filing for unemployment as someone who is self-employed and a sole proprietor. Now, I've spoken with a number of other resellers about this topic, whether or not to apply for unemployment if your sales are down. And there's definitely mixed opinions. I don't know what the right answer is. I can't tell you what the right answer is. I can only tell you that for me personally, I haven't lost my job. So for me, I'm looking at unemployment as for somebody who lost their job. Now, there's also the argument with unemployment that it can be a loss of income. So if sales are down or YouTube money's down, whatever it is, that's constituting a loss of income. But for me personally, because I don't have a definitive answer and because nobody seems to have a definitive answer, at least not today, I wouldn't personally file for unemployment because I'm still working and still bringing in money. My business is still going. My YouTube money is way down, but my eBay money is way up. Now, that being said, I had let my eBay money go down quite a bit. So the fact that it's up, it's not up to what it once was. But that, on my end, is a fault of not listing. I personally can't blame my lack of sales on the coronavirus outbreak. My book sales are down a bit, but they're still steady. So for me, when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, well, I'm still working, so I can't claim that I'm not employed. Here's the thing. Again, this is me personally. I don't want it to come back on me if I were to apply for unemployment and get it, that next year when I file taxes, they'd say, well, wait a minute. You were working, you were bringing in money during that time. What the heck? That's just my feeling on it. Let me know if you feel like sharing what you're doing. Have you filed? Have you gotten an answer from maybe like an accountant or financial advisor? I mean, I think that would be obviously the logical thing to do. Contact your accountant or your financial advisor, whoever, because trying to get a hold of anybody in the actual unemployment office is very tricky. They're being swamped right now. I'm not filing. I don't plan to, but let me know if you feel like sharing, of course, what your feelings are about it. I just don't want it to come back as like unemployment fraud or something, That's my perspective. I'm terrified of, the IRS and the government or any law enforcement. I toe the line on everything, so I don't want to break any rules. So I'm not applying because I'm still working and still making money, which I'm very, very thankful for. But if you filed for unemployment as a self-employed reseller who's still reselling, I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. Leave a comment below. In addition to unemployment for sole proprietors and self-employed and the stimulus money that is being sent to all Americans, again, if you make up to $75,000 a year, you will be getting $1,200. Children, $500. Up from $75,000 to $99,000. It's a reduced amount, but this is only if you've actually filed your taxes for 2018, or it might be 2019 too, and the money will be coming to you direct deposit if you are already set up with direct deposit from the IRS. It's very confusing. I know. We've been talking about it a lot on the show, so go back and listen to past episodes because it's confusing. But there's also the SBA Assistance, so the Small Business Administration various loans and possibly grants available. And a big thanks to Jeffrey over at Real Nifty Vintage. He's the one who initially gave me the information about a YouTuber here called Meet Kevin. So Meet Kevin YouTube channel. I will link it below. He has been doing updates about these loans. Now, apparently the SBA has updated the terms or frequently asked questions about these various programs. The one in particular, and the one that I did apply for because I wanted to go through the process to see what it was the EIDL grant, which is presented as it's a disaster relief grant. So coronavirus has been declared a disaster. The states have been able to get disaster relief because of coronavirus. So there is a disaster relief grant or grant monies available for businesses, one of which can be up to $10 million for a business. But the fine print in this was that could be up to $10,000 in a forgivable loan. So basically they'd loan you the $10,000, but it'd actually end up being forgiven. So it would turn into a grant. I told you this was all confusing. Anyway, this Meet Kevin has updated his, or put up a new video with going through their latest line-by-line item of the FAQs that the SBA has put out regarding this specific program. And it says that the EIDL loan advances will start to be distributed this week, $1,000 per employee up to $10,000. So when I applied for this program, I put in one employee, me being the employee. So according to this, if I were to get money, and I'm not holding my breath, I applied for it because I wanted to see what would happen. And it's open to any business, whether you're closed or not. It's anybody versus unemployment. That's why I felt like, okay, apply for this, but I was iffy about unemployment. Anyway, so if I were to get any money, it would be $1,000 because I put in one employee, the employee being me. If you are a reseller and you have employees and you put, maybe you have 3 people employed, then you'd be getting $3,000. However, I have yet to hear from anybody who's actually gotten this money. And so once again, it's just so much confusion with all of the loans and programs and stimulus money. But I will link Meet Kevin channel in the show notes below the video, where I link all the things I talk about in a show. So you can go over and listen or watch his videos. He does a very good job of thoroughly explaining everything and going through line by line the posts directly from the SBA and explaining things further. Of course, this is somebody on YouTube, so don't take it as gospel, but if you're confused and you want a little bit more clarity, I think this is a good place to start. Turning now to the actual reselling sites themselves, we'll start with eBay today. eBay has announced that non-store owners can get 200 extra free listings through April 30th and pay less in fees. So they have given store owners on eBay they gave 50,000 in March and 50,000 here in April, extra listings on top of our stores to list, but now they are giving extra listings to those who do not have stores. So if you don't have an eBay store, you are now eligible to get up to 200 listings. I will link this offer below. You do have to activate the offer to get it, but the details say, we're committed to doing everything we can to ensure that our sellers can connect with buyers and deliver what they need during this time of uncertainty. Many of you provided thoughts and feedback on what more we can do to help. So here's some of the things we're doing for our small and medium businesses in this unprecedented time. It does go into talking about the deferred fee payments, which you can apply for. They update on shipping and give you tips about connecting with customers and protecting your seller status. Getting back to this specific promotion, it says, what is the promotion? Members who activate the offer and then create a listing pursuant to the terms and conditions set forth herein will pay no insertion fee per item for up to 200 listings during the promotion period. All existing selling limits on your account, as well as category and item limits, still apply and may prevent you from creating the maximum number of listings in this promotion. The promotion is in addition to the free listings per month as part of the everyday rate plan. The promotion excludes auction-style listings with a 1 or 3 day duration, so you can list for 5 or 7 days, or is it 10 days still available? I haven't done an auction so long, I don't know. Final value fees will be applied to the total amount of the sale. The total amount of the sale is the amount the buyer pays, including any shipping and handling charges. Sales tax is not included. Fees for optimal listing upgrades still apply. Who's eligible? The promotion is eligible to members who, 1, activated the promotion in the link that I'm going to provide you, and 2, meet eBay's minimum seller performance standards. When is it? The promotion will begin on Tuesday, March 31st, and will end on Thursday, April 30th. How do you activate the promotion? Again, you need to go on and click through to the listing to do that. So if you don't have a store, but you have an eBay account and you've been wanting to list, this is your chance to get 200 extra free listings. Remember that if you are interested in starting an eBay store, they are also offering the promotion where you can get your first 3 months of a basic store for free when you sign up to sell on eBay. So there are a lot of options for new sellers, non-store subscribers, to get a little bit more out of eBay during this time. Also on eBay, and of course all the sites have been cracking down on listings that are trying to profit from the coronavirus outbreak. So things like masks and medical supplies, price gouging. But there's a report on SportsIllustrated.com that Chris Spielman's auctions were shut down by eBay. It says former Detroit Lions linebacker Chris Spielman has committed to help out COVID-19 relief efforts. Earlier this week, Spielman committed to raising $40,000 and has been auctioning off his memorabilia online on eBay. An item that garnered significant attention was his 1984 Ohio State Big Ten championship ring. The ring was auctioned off for $12,000. According to Spielman, I think there are certain times in life when you're called to serve and help, and this is one of those times. I always talk to my kids about sacrificial giving, and for me, that memorabilia means a lot, but can mean more if I buy groceries for somebody who might need to buy groceries. I don't need a ring to tell me that I played in the 1984 season 85 Rose Bowl. I was there. I still have those thoughts and feelings from that game, like I do with so many games running through my brain. I think that ring can be so much more useful and so much more helpful to somebody that needs it. Spielman's effort hit a snag, however, as eBay has temporarily shut down his auctions. Auctions are on hold temporarily because eBay has considered me a threat and I'm not promoting a positive buying and selling environment, he said. And his account has been permanently suspended. He goes on to say, I'll let you know when I find another platform to use. Nothing changes. $40,000 will be raised. Spielman will continue his efforts, but it appears he must find alternative platform because eBay has reported to him their decision to close his account is final. So, I realize sites are taking an overabundance of caution, but now you've got somebody actually trying to do some good, and you can't even do a charity fundraiser on auction from somebody who I don't know who this person is because I'm not a sports person, but I'm assuming this is probably someone who is well known, and that just kind of stinks, but sounds like he's just going to find another way to get the money into the hands of those who need it. Turning now to Etsy, according to an article over on the e-commerce Bytes blog, Etsy CEO has reported March sales and what's selling. Etsy CEO Josh Silverman painted a picture of how disruptive the COVID-19 outbreak was for e-commerce in the month of March and revealed what kind of items are doing well and which ones are suffering as a result of the pandemic. Traditionally, in the month of March, Etsy would see strength in weddings, but the CEO said the category has been severely impacted. Another category traditionally strong in the month of March is jewelry, but Silverman said the jewelry category was also showing some material headwinds. On the bright side, he said, categories that were much more stable included self-care, puzzles and games to do at home, and bath and beauty. He also revealed that Reverb, the musical instrument marketplace Etsy acquired last year, was seeing some benefit from first-time musicians thinking about taking up an instrument. Silverman made these remarks during a fireside chat with Chief Financial Officer Rachel Glazer and moderated by the company's Vice President of Investor Relations, Deborah Wasser. The interview was conducted via video conference from the participants' respective homes due to the coronavirus stay-at-home advisories. As a matter of fact, the company was exceptionally well prepared for work from home directives, Silverman indicated during the call, having formed a COVID task force in early January, running a full everyone work from home day in February to make sure that our systems would work in performance scale in case everyone needed to work from home. And in fact, unfortunately, that became the case. The company shut down all offices globally in early March, asking everyone to work from home. Silverman also said in Thursday's call that Etsy has pulled back on some of its marketing efforts, including TV commercials. He explained that broadly speaking, Etsy's marketing falls into two buckets: performance marketing and brand and above-the-line marketing. Here's what he said about each. Starting with performance marketing, one of the nice elements of performance marketing is that it's a bit of a natural shock absorber in that it varies dynamically with demand. So in moments when mind share is diverted away from Etsy products and categories, we have less impressions on places like Google and Facebook, and therefore we spend less. And as mind share shifts back to Etsy's relevant categories, our impressions naturally grow and our spend naturally grow. So it's a nice variable part of our cost structure. On brand and above-line television, we acted very quickly to push back on our TV spend, recognizing that the month of March and probably the month of April were not going to be times when people were really going to be in a mindset where Etsy was top of mind. So we bought ourselves a lot of flexibility in terms of when we're coming online, and we're tracking daily leading indicators of traffic on Etsy, traffic on Google, to see where this mind share is shifting back in our direction so that when we come back online, be able to do so maybe even in a big way. This article does go into more detail about Silverman talking about the back end of stocks and all that kind of stuff regarding Etsy, and there are some sales number percentages in here as well. Again, this will be linked below the video in the show notes if you want to read the whole thing. But I do want to get down to the end where it says that in the call that Silverman did not mention the sale of face masks. However, on Friday, he informed sellers through a blog post that demand for handmade fabric face masks will very likely outpace eBay or Etsy sellers' existing supply. That's why we are letting sellers know that those with the skill and materials may want to consider creating and selling face masks on Etsy. Silverman revealed in that Friday post that Etsy had sold hundreds of thousands of masks over the prior 2-day period, so on Friday and Thursday of last week, and said over 10,000 sellers had made a mask sale in the past week. So the article ends by saying, sounds like another silver lining for Etsy. Although I do know people are also selling the face masks on eBay. I haven't looked on Poshmark if they're on there. I would assume probably people on Mercari are selling them. But yeah, homemade face masks, they're the new thing. My dad knows how to sew. Maybe I should get him to make some. Although there are instructions about how you can just make one by folding up some fabric and using rubber bands and whatnot. So lots of ways to put a face mask together if you are wanting to use one when you're out and about. And the CDC is now recommending that if you are out, that you do use a face mask, albeit a handmade one, fabric one. They don't want anyone buying or using the ones that are designated for healthcare workers. With many resellers focusing only on clothing or even some just adding some clothing into their inventory mix, I thought this article that I found on nylon.com was really interesting. It is titled, How Will Coronavirus Affect Online Secondhand Shopping? This article says, Poshmark, Depop, The RealReal, and more are working hard to encourage customers to keep buying and selling. The fashion industry is facing a crisis due to coronavirus. Brands like Gucci and Versace have canceled their Destination Cruise 2021 runway shows. The Met Gala has been indefinitely postponed, and stores around the world have shut down their brick-and-mortar outpost until further notice. Meanwhile, secondhand retailers face an additional challenge during this pandemic. Online platforms like Poshmark, The RealReal, and Depop heavily rely on its loyal community of users and are now in the position of assuring people that it's still safe to be buying and selling during a time when social distancing, quarantine, and isolation have been essentially mandated by the government. In order to do this, these companies have mapped out initiatives to ensure that health and safety are top priority, hoping it will assuage. Oh man, I know what this word is, and I got to the word in the article, assuage. Oh man, this is embarrassing. Whatever. Hoping it will build up any potential concerns from customers and encourage them to maintain a business as usual attitude. Depop, The RealReal, ThredUp, and Poshmark have all released statements to inform its users of the changes they're facing during the pandemic. The RealReal has closed its 4 brick-and-mortar shops, as well as its 10 luxury consignment shops, and instead is offering virtual appointments for those who still wish to consign. Depop and Poshmark have announced pickup options for those who wish to stay at home while continuing to sell and ship online. As things keep changing, we will continue to do our best to evolve our efforts to support the needs of our Depop entrepreneurs as they need us the most right now. We've already begun creating focus group with members of our community and brainstorming the ways in which we can help them navigate the next couple of months more easily and, more importantly, safely. It's perhaps due to these efforts that some companies like ThredUp have actually seen an increase in people listing items for sale. We've definitely seen an uptick in clean out as customers use their time at home to get organized, said ThredUp's Natalie Tomlin. Taking out the task of cleaning out your closet can help you feel productive and create a space that feels orderly when the outside world is in chaos. Safety and cleanliness have also been addressed since COVID-19's ability to live on surfaces and for how long has been a worldwide concern, whether people are shopping or not. One thing these companies lack control over is shipping delays. Many have cut staff and rely on sellers to ship their own items, which may take longer because of shelter-in-place orders. Poshmark is working on extending its shipping window, while Depop has encouraged sellers to communicate early on if they expect any delays in their shipment. This is interesting. I know a lot of people only sell clothes or they sell some clothes. I've sold some clothes in the past, and people are having difficulty sourcing. Obviously, thrift stores are mostly closed down. People are getting inventory by doing porch pickup, online sourcing. So being creative, in their ability to get inventory. It's really the full-time sellers, obviously, who have to keep doing this. People who do the reselling for fun, extra part-time money. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if that's you and you're fortunate enough that you don't rely on your reselling income to pay bills, then, this is a time when you can be thankful for that. But yeah, those who desperately depend on their reselling income to make a living, clothing's tough right now, not only selling it, but sourcing it. If you're a clothing seller, let me know how your sales are going and what you're doing about sourcing. Leave me a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. And that's a wrap on today's show. If you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and check out the links below the video. Thank you so much for listening. I will talk with you again tomorrow. Have a great day. Bye.